Okay, let's go to projects inside food donation. Okay, and I'll say npm start. So let's see what we did. And so last time we moved something from nav nav.js to my action. You remember we moved this Google login part.
Yes, and
It was
save it
there.
into the
Yeah,
promise.
it was there in the nav, but we moved it to the my action. So my question is, what do you think? It is good to move it here, or it should be good in the nav? Is it better to put it in this myaction.js, or it is better to put in the keep it in nav only, which was like previously? So as per your understanding, what you feel, what should be the right way?
I think it's better to put it into action because
Action. And what about Tony?
when
What do you think?
yeah,
I agree because it is, actions is it kind of separates the code and puts it into an action.
all of the
Yeah,
logic part is in action.
yeah. So actually, both are not wrong or right. It's up to the concept. I generally think that some people do it, or what I did now, they put in the fire action only. But I feel that since we don't since we don't use the result, see, result goes here and it goes again then to the reducer, and in the reducer we are not really using the reducer for this. You see, we are not actually changing the state. Generally, all things we put in the action which really change the state. Okay, so actually both are right methods. I'm not saying that one is wrong or another one is wrong, because both work. That means both are right. But I feel there is no hard code, documentation that which one is the right or wrong kind of thing. But this is my understanding, that since we are not changing the state after the return statement, so it is useless to put in the action, because we are not really doing anything. We are just getting the result and we are not using it. Generally, states are used if we get something and we use it, we save it in the page. Right now, we are not using it. We are just logging it and that's it. We're not taking the result and doing something from it. But if you see, if I go to index.js and once I reload the page, I'm getting some information from the Firebase, and here I'm storing in the using this information. I'm utilizing this information, and since I'm utilizing this information, it is good to go through action and then reducer and use it like this, like we're using it here. But when I do here in the my action for the Google login, I am not using the result. I am just putting that result in the air and it's gone. Are you getting the difference between the two? In the index.js, I am using this information. I am saving this information in the state. By this statement, you will see this is saved in the state. So I'm using this information in the state. But here I'm not using this information in the state. It is gone in the thin air. So I personally feel that we should not put it here. So I will revert back what we did last time, and so we will put it there in the nav.js as we were doing previously. So I wanted to show you how we are calling this function in the for the action, and that's the reason I did it. But I will move this part. I will move this part in the nav, which is much better in this current scene, in current scenario, because we are not using it. But how to use this function, that is the reason I put it here to show you how we can use the function. So I will move it in this one, but not now. I will move it tomorrow because I want you to understand how we are calling this function. So that's the reason I will not delete it now. We'll just use it now. But tomorrow I will remove it and we will do it in the here only. We will revert it here because I feel that since we are not using the result, it's unnecessary to call in the action because once you are calling the action, it will go to reducer definitely, and after reducer, it will reload the page. Reload the page means not overall page, but the part of the page. So since we don't want it to reload because it's anyhow not doing any stuff kind of it, so it's better to keep it in the nav.js. But to understand this, how this functionality, we call this function one, I used it here on that day. So let's move this part also in the Firebase for now. And after a few days, I will remove it and put it here back. So maybe not tomorrow. After a few days, I will put it back here. So I put it here and I removed it from here. And now here in the function 2, I will call the dispatch again. See, this part is little complex because you haven't done this before. When we will do multiple things in this one in our project, you will feel very easy after some time. Right now, it's little complex, but after some time you will feel. So here we have to dispatch the function which is for sign out. I'm dispatching the function for sign out. So when user will click sign out, it will go to here, and from here it will call the function 2. Function 2 will dispatch the action. The action will come from here. So here also we have to make like this, some kind of this way. Okay, so let's make it like I copied from here till payload, and then I will complete the payload, and inside payload I will put this Firebase authentication, and once this something is written here, I will just resolve an empty object, and here I will say Google, or what I'm using here, I'm using logout here. Maybe I can say here main sign out. I'll say main sign out. Okay, here also I'll say Google underscore login, or let it be Google login is fine right now. Main sign out here I will put, and here I will add one more statement, and that will be main sign out. And since this is also not doing anything, so we will remove this also, because unnecessary we are changing the state without any purpose, because this is not really doing anything. So I will say main sign out, I will call the promise, and that's it. So for today, I will put it to show you how we are calling the function 1 and function 2, which I am using here and here, but we have to remove it. We have to revert the things back. So let's see now. Okay, there is some error kind of thing. Maybe I didn't close properly. Okay, this one is the Firebase part. Okay, this one is the Firebase part, and we have payload is this one. Okay, I need to return this like this. Let me give you this sign out in the chat. You can put that in your code, and in the nav.js, I will give you the function 2 part. You can use this function 2 part. Rest all is same in the, and delete something after this sign out. There was something which you have to delete it. What was there? It was the Firebase thing. It was this Firebase part was there. Delete that part from the nav.js. So do these 3 changes and then we'll move further. So one change is this one. Second change is delete after this function 2, delete the part. And next will be add this sign out. three things. Let's see if it is working fine. Okay, there is another one. Wait, there is another error. Export Firebase app. Okay, my Firebase 37 line number. Okay, we have two initialization. One is this one and another one is this one. Maybe because of that it is creating the error. Okay, let's remove this part. Okay, now everything is fine. Oh, maybe this configuration got changed or it's same. I don't know. If you get error, then only just fix it. Maybe it's only my local. Okay, so let me know when you're done with this change. Three changes. One was adding this part. Okay, I'll give you my reducer part also, which I did not give you. And one part is the action part. I gave you action part. I give you nav part of this function too. And I told you to delete after this. Okay, let me know once you're done with this one.
Where does that last statement go?
Which one?
The case main sign out fulfilled?
Okay, in the myReducer.js, you have all the case statement. Add one more case statement. In the myReducer.js.
Okay.
Let me know once you're done.
I'm just waiting for it to load to see if it runs.
Okay.
If you log out and try to go to create, does it let you on your version?
If I log out, and right now we did not put that check, and now you will be able to go to create page, but we need to put that check. So check
Because I
that
saw a
it will
video
not
where
come.
I saw a video you were doing the auth thing, but then mine wasn't working, so I was wondering if I missed something.
Okay, so but you know what? I did that thing, but it was not working because I have to do some other things for it, and so we will do that after some time.
Okay, no worries. Just making sure I'm on track.
I have an error about result, I think.
Let's see.
Welcome to your CB.
Yes,
Okay.
nice. Great.
Where is the error?
Here. Payload.
Go
The
down.
equals at GT after the resolve reject.
Yeah, you have to put the arrow sign.
Okay. Okay. Components.
What happened? Is there error you're getting? Component is not defined.
Component is not defined.
In line number 11. Let's see your line number 11.
Extend component.
Okay, one
Mm.
second. Can you go up?
Yeah,
I
it's top.
I think you deleted in the
The
some
top
line.
one.
Yeah. So let me give you, what is this?
This one.
App.js.
Yeah, app.js.
Okay, let me give you the initial top one. In the chat. I gave in the chat.
Yes. Browse route import component reg. Yes. Missing. Okay, works right now. I just delete the top one. So right now it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so now let me log in. We will put that authentication after some time because it's unnecessary. I don't want to waste time on that stuff. Unnecessary. It will take a lot of time over, but we don't want to waste our time. So maybe we'll do simple one tomorrow, but later on we will put final fix, good fix for it. Okay, so this is my create page, and now we'll start building the create page today. So let's go to the create one. So we are done with this Firebase logout. It's working with this dispatch one, which we will revert anyhow in some time. So create is this one. So now I will explain you how we are creating how we will be creating the page, and we will save this information in the database, and database is the Firebase. So here, so right now in the food donation we have only the users one. Now we will be trying to put another one for the create one, where user will try to create it. Now before going to that stage of saving, we need to understand this, how to manipulate this form. So this form has different fields. One is the text field. This is autocomplete one. This is the text area. This is the tags. This is the URL, image URL, and many more fields will come in future. Now we need to understand how to manipulate this form to make it work. So generally, if you go to olden days of HTML submission of the form, you have the submit button, and when you click the submit button, whatever the name you give to this text box, you can grab that name and you can manipulate with that name kind of thing. But here we have to use different way. So let's concentrate only on this title part. Now let me first explain you what we are trying to do. Let me open the readme. Now what I'm trying to do, I will explain you. Okay, so this is the text field. We have text field. It has the value, whatever value you put. For example, you will say Indian food or donation, something like that, whatever you want to give the title. So it will go into the value. So for example, if I give the value of something Indian food, and if I refresh the page, okay, so this is something we will fix it. It's showing Indian food here because I give the value of Indian food. Let me delete this value. Now this is little, let me explain you. So this is the text field, and it has the value of Indian food, or initially we will put empty, so user can choose that value. How to manipulate this in the React? In the React, whenever user changes this value, we have to call one function or event of the JavaScript that is called the onChange. So to call onChange. OnChange means whenever user try to type it, then we have to call this onChange method. And in the onChange method, we have to save the variable. So this title will be saved somewhere in one variable. So how to save this title in one variable? So to save this title in one variable, we have to create the local variable. So we have to create one local variable. I'm writing here. It is also called as local state variable. We have seen there is a state in the reducer, this state. Don't think about this state right now. this state which we will be creating in this one, create one that is only local to this page. So it has nothing to do with the reducer or action or anything. It is the local state variable which will store the data. Store the data on the page. So it has nothing to do with the main store or reducer or action. It's only local to this page and it will store the data on this page. So let's do that one. So how to create the local variable, state variable? First thing we have to do the constructor. We have to create one function called as constructor. It will take one parameter called as props. And first line we have to put as a super props. So this is nothing, this will not do any functionality. This is something we have to follow the steps of the React. So how to save the state, how to save the local variable. So these are the hardcore things you have to put it. Don't worry about how they are working or whether they are useful to us or not. Just you have to put this line of the code. There is nothing which we need to understand about this line of the code because they are used by the React to save the state. So we need to use this method and we don't have to worry about how it works or how the React does anything about it. So first step is I create a constructor. Inside this constructor, I will create a state variable. So we have to create first constructor and then we have to create state variable. How to create a state variable? I will say this dot state is equal to object. I will make an object and all which I want to save in this page, I will save in this state. This is the local variable only to this page. It has nothing to do with the store or my Firebase or reducer or action. This is only local to this page. So I will say this dot state equal to, I will create one variable called as title. So I will say title. Initially, I will give the value of null or empty string, whatever you prefer. So I created one variable here in the constructor. So just you create the constructor and then I will tell you how to use this variable. I will put it in the chat.
CBS on the Go forecast. I'm meteorologist.
Okay. So now what we have to do, we can use this variable like this dot state dot title. If I want to use this, I have to use like this dot state dot title, and I can get this value. So if I want to use this variable, so for example, in the value I want to use this variable, I will say this dot state dot title. So that means whatever value I give this to title, if I give empty to title, it will say a value equal to empty. I will show you in the React. So it's empty. Now, if I give some value, for example, blah, 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 and if I go here, so it's showing this value, whatever I give to the title. So whatever value I am giving this to title, it is applied to this title. So put this value also for the title. Okay. Now, if you see, I won't be able to change this value. Title is there, but I'm not able to change it. Are you able to change it in your page? Just put some title, blah, blah, anything here, and try to then change this value of the title. Are you able to change it?
No.
Tony? Tony, are you able to change? Okay. So now why we are not able to change it? The reason is, as soon as we are trying to change it, it takes the value of the state again, that is this value, and replaces in the value field. So we are not able to really change it. So whenever we are trying to change it, it overwrites with this state, which is this value. So what we have to do to make it work? So to make it work, we have to change the state whenever user types something. So whenever I type something, I have to change this state, this value, the value of the state of the title. Then only I can see the change value here. Otherwise, it will take this value again and it will show it to you. So it's not really changing the value. So what we will do, I will create one on change method. I will say on change equal to, I will write something inside it in this on change. So what I have to write, I can say, let's say I can create an curly bracket, and maybe I can create an arrow function. In this arrow function, I can say this. Now how to change the state? I cannot change the state like this. This dot state dot title is equal to new title. This is the wrong way to update the title. Generally, we have seen in JavaScript, this is the way we update the variable. Whatever the variable we assign it to update it, we use this method. This is the normal JavaScript. But here in the React, it is wrong to update the state like this. We have to update the state like this way. This dot set state, and then I have to start with the curly bracket. And in the curly bracket, I will say something title colon new title. So whatever title I want to give, I have to use this method, this dot set state, and I will say title, and in the title I will say new title. So that way we are updating this title, and this is the way to update the state. So what I will do, I will create an arrow function in the on change. This arrow function will take one parameter called as event, and I will see what is event has. So I will say console.log of event, and I will try to see what is there in the event, what is come in the event. So if I try to not change, you will see event is run, and we have something called as target in the event. So let's go to more on it. I will say e.target. See what is there in the target when I change it. So now if I try to change it, so it is giving the e.target, that is this input box, and I can say e.target.value. Then I can say the value of the input box. So let's see now what happening. If I type it, you will see the value of the input box. So what I will do, I know the value, whatever I'm changing is coming as a e.target.value. So what I will do, I will remove the console.log. Instead of console.log, I will say this dot set state, and in that I will create a curly bracket and I will say title is equal to e.target.value, because e.target.value is something we saw that whenever user is typing something, that change value comes in the e.target.value. So what I am creating, I created an arrow function inside the change on change event, and this on change event is calling this dot set state, and it is updating the title with the new value whatever user has typed. Now when I try to type it, it will update the state and the new state will be displayed in the value, and you will be able to see the new value. Previously we were not updating the state, so whenever user was trying to change it, it was showing the old state, which is this state. Now let's see. So now if I try to change it, you will see I can change it. So what I did, this part you have written it, only I put the input part which I am giving in the chat, and let me explain you once more once you are done with typing this part. So just copy paste in your code and see if it's working, and then I will explain you this part again. Okay, Kate.
Yes,
Okay.
done.
Okay, now let me explain you one part again, this part again, because this is important. We will be doing this again and again. So first thing we have to put the value, and value should come from the state, whatever we have the state here. So we create a variable called title in the state, and then we use this title in the state here in the value. Now, if I put only this part, I won't be able to change the text box. The reason is as soon as I try to change it, it grabs again this value and put it there, and we are not really able to change it. But when I say on change will take an event, and this event has the target dot value. That means whatever the user put the value, it goes in the form of this variable e dot target dot value. And what I'm doing, I'm updating the state title with this e dot target dot value. How to update it? With this method. So as soon as I'm updating this method with e dot target dot value, the original state gets changed with the new value what the user has put, and then you will be able to see the value with the new state value. So you are able to see the text box is getting changed. So let me remove this df original value. Let's make it empty, and now we will test it again. So now let's refresh it. It's refreshing. Let me restart it. It got hanged kind of thing. Okay, I got this one. I'll go to the create, and if I change it, I am able to see the new changes. Now what I will do, uh, I just emptied this title. You can also empty this title. Now in the render, I will just put the console.log to see the state value. What is the state value? And here I will say this dot state. I will give you this line in the chat. Now what I will do, I will be able to see what is the state value is there. Every time the user types it, this value will get updated it. Because whenever I started typing, I am changing the state. Since I am changing the state, it will reload this render part, and we will be able to see this line again and again whenever I start typing. So let's start first letter A. I will see the state value title is A. I will say S. So you will see title is AS. H, O, K, comma, ANIL. You will see as soon as I am typing, I am able to see this part again and again, because whenever we are changing the state, this render function will run again and again. So as soon as we change the state, we will see this render function running again and again. So we are able to see this part again and again. So let's do it again. Mango. So I am able to see the mango here. That means the title value is changed now to mango. So whenever if I want to retrieve this whatever user has typed, I will just say this dot state dot title. I will be able to retrieve this value which user has put. And this one is only tied to this page, and it will be on this page only. So that's the reason I created this local variable. If by chance you want to save it somewhere globally so that you can use it in other components, then you have to save in the reducer with the action. But if you don't want to use that one, then you can only use it here in the create, and no need to go into the action and reducer route. So there are two ways. One way, we can create this local component variable by using the state in this page. Another thing is we can use in the reducer and action method, which we saw previously. And we will repeat this again and again so that you can remember it easily. So what I did in the create, I created the state, and then I put a value, and I put this on change. So these three things we have done. Let's do same thing for this. First we will do for description, and then we'll do for all other things, and then we will move to this autocomplete part. So in autocomplete, we won't be able to do this state kind of thing because I think it's not supported, or I have to read their documentation if it is supported or not, because I tried on that day, it was not working. Maybe I have to change something to make it work. Okay, so let's do it for now. Description. This is the description. So I create one more state. Every time you want to add to new field, you have to create a state. So here I will say description. Initially, I will give null. And here in the description, I will say value equal to this dot state dot description. Let's see if it is work. It will not allow us to change because we have to write the change method. So this is my page. This is the description. I will try to type it. I'm not able to type it. The reason is I created the state variable and I assigned this description to that variable. Now if I try to type, it will again go and grab this part, and it will show this part, and it will not take my new value. So how to take the new value? I will use onChange method. OnChange equal to a curly bracket, and inside curly bracket I will create an arrow function, and this arrow function will take one parameter called as event, and here inside this curly bracket I will say this dot state, and here I will start with the curly bracket. Now I don't want to update the title here. Title is already mentioned here. I will only update the description part of the state. So everything, if we want to update anything, we can update separately. Now here I will only update the description part. So I will say this dot set state description colon e dot target dot value. Same thing which we did here, e dot target dot value. Now next time this tag part and image part, I will ask from you how to do that. But right now, just see what I have done. So now I will refresh the page and I will try to change it. I change the title and I change the description. I'm able to change the description. As soon as I'm changing the description, I'm able to see the state value is getting changed. Here it is, see, it's changing the state. Whatever I'm changing, we are able to update the state here. Try to put this one in the text area, and the rest, this two, you have to explain me how you will do it. Okay. Okay, both are done. Okay, so now what I will do, I will ask you how to do in the tags and image URL. So Kate, tell me first what is the first step if I want to do in the tags?
The tags. Let me
Yeah.
see. Oh, okay. So you should create a key value
Okay.
like after description. Let's
Okay.
take let's
Create the tag
and
I
we
put it
can
null.
new, yeah. And
Okay.
then after the take,
Yeah.
put another method on change.
Yeah. Before on change.
Oh, before on change, we'll give it a value. Value is equal to list state take
Tags. Okay.
tag.
Now on change.
Give a method on change, and the parameter is event.
Arrow function, and then I will pass
Event, and that one is this set state,
right.
and we'll give a new value to takes.
Tags equal to e dot target dot
value.
value. Okay. So
Yeah,
this is
that's
fine.
it.
Yeah. Let's test it. I'm able to update the tag.
Yeah.
I'm able to update the title. I'm able to not location right now. I'm able to update the description. Now, Tony, you have to explain me the image. What is the first step? Tony, what is the first step? Tony, are you there? Tony, where is Tony? Tony. I don't know if he is here or gone. Okay, I'll tell you again how to do that. Maybe uh, he might have gone. He will come back again.
Yeah.
So the first, yeah, he's
Oh,
back.
he come.
Tony, Tony, hello.
I can hear you.
Yeah, you can hear me. Like, I don't know if Tony can hear me. Tony, are you there? Okay, if we come back, I'll repeat it. Let's do it again. So for the image URL, first step is you have to add here image URL, for example, and then I will go here and I will start with the value equal to this dot state dot image URL. I'll start with in the curly bracket, then I'll say on change equal to curly bracket, and here I will create an arrow function and I will start the curly bracket, and this I will say E, and here I will try to change the state. This dot set state, and here I will say hello, hello Tony.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you a little bit light. Hello, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know
So
what's going on.
what? Yeah, your voice is very low. Can
Now
you
then,
can
now
you
then.
relog in it? Maybe check your microphone or relog in it.
Yeah, I reset it all, turned it all off. But I think
Yeah, now I can hear you, but previously it was good. Now it's a little bit dull,
okay.
but I can hear you. Okay, so again I will explain you. So first step is we have to put the variable here in the state. Second step is we have to create the value, and value will be this dot state dot the key name, and then we have to go with the on change. On change will be in the curly bracket, and then we have to put the arrow function. Arrow function will take the one parameter event, and that event will be e, and the value of this change value of this input box will be e dot target dot value. So this is how we update the state, and once we update the state, it will you will see the state here also in the console, and you will see the updated value here in the text box. We also need to update the location whenever user is changed. We need to save the location also in the state. So whatever value we see in the form, it has to be saved in this state variable. Otherwise, we won't be able to submit it. So let's take the value of this location here in this state. So initially I will say location, and initially what value I will give to the location? I will say location is equal to, maybe I'll say empty object. So initially we have empty object of the location. So now as soon as user updates the location is here in this object console.log object. Let's see what it comes. So if I say San Jose, so you will see this is the object. I'm getting state, I'm getting county, country, formatted address, latitude, longitude, and locality. We get this object. We want to save this in the location variable of the state. That is this variable. So what I will do, whenever I got this object, after that object, maybe I'll delete this object. I don't need it. But I will say this dot set state, and inside set state, I can start with the curly bracket. I can say location colon object. So this location is nothing but the location which I created here, And this object is nothing but the object which we get here. We build the object here. And now we will see if it is saved in the state or not. So what I'll do, I will put something mango and I'll put the location, and then I'll put the description, I'll put the tags, I'll put the image URL, and you will see in the state value, I'm able to see all the location with latitude, longitude. I'm able to see tags, I'm able to see title, and I'm able to see description and image URL. So I'm able to see everything here in the location part of this state. So you also can put this location. I will give this whole state object, and then I will give you what I did in the location, the end, that is where we created the object, and then I will give you this each input box so you can check it with your current code. Let me know once you are done with the location. Done?
Testing.
Okay.
Yes, works.
Okay.
I got some kind of problem.
Try to fix it, otherwise I'll help you.
I can't find it. It has to do with the tag, the tags and the
Tags are not
URL.
working. Okay, show me the code.
And when I copied and pasted it, when I got the error.
Yeah, maybe there is some greater sign, something you have to check that. Okay, where is the tags one? Okay, so problem is in your, yeah, in both the statement here is a problem. So let me fix for you. Sorry, I took the presenter role. I'll give you again. So let me fix it for you. So here, I think here, okay, you don't move the mouse for a minute. Okay. So if I go here it's ending curly bracket for the arrow function, and then we have ending curly bracket for the on change, and then we have to close the input tag. Similarly, this one is fine, but we have to close the input tag. Save it. Now try it.
This be working.
Yeah, now it's good, right?
Location.
So maybe while copy paste, yeah, location you have to find some location. Just put type something, put some decent location. Yeah, then it will come correctly. Okay, so that's it for this form. So we are done with this form kind of thing. We saved everything in the state. Now next step is we have to save this in the Firebase. Okay, so to do that in the Firebase, we need to think on it how we are going to save it. So we will just plan it now for 5 minutes, and then we will see tomorrow how to save in Firebase. So in the Firebase, everything is like a tree structure. Everything is like tree structure. For example, user. For example, I showed you the user. So in the user, we have the key of first user, and we have again we have key value pair. That's a tree-like structure. So for user, we keep everything in the user folder kind of thing. But for here, let's say we create one folder called as maybe data. And inside data, we will create a folder called as posts. Posts is something where we will be saving our all information. Whatever the user will put, we will be saving in the post. In Firebase, we cannot query like MySQL. In the MySQL, we can say, give me the post of user X, location X and Y, and with a title of, with the tags of maybe mango. I can use multiple things in the MySQL to do it, to get the record. But in Firebase, it's not allowed. You cannot do that. So there is different way how to structure your data. So we have to see how to structure our data. That part is little complicated, means it's a bigger one. I will explain you tomorrow how to structure a data. But right now, we have to just put it in this folder structure called as data. Inside data, we have to put it in the post. So for today's task, we have to just do like this. Even today also, I won't be able to post it successfully, but I will do something to reach this goal. But we will do this goal tomorrow. So how to post it now? So when user will click this submit button, I have to call one function. So I will create one function. Maybe I can say submit to Firebase. This is my name of my function, right? So what I will do, once user click this submit button, create new post, I will call this function. So in the form tag, I will say on submit equal to, and I have to call this function. So how to call this function? To call this function, I will say this dot submit to Firebase, and because this is the function I have to call. But in normal JavaScript, this will work fine, but in React, it will not work fine. In React, we have to add some more thing to call this function. So what I have to say, after this dot submit to Firebase, I will say dot bind. And in the bind, I will open the round bracket and I will pass this value. So I cannot call any of the function which I defined here in this template without calling this bind this. So every time I have to append this whenever I want to call the function inside this render method. Let's say if I have another function xyz, and if I want to call this xyz somewhere from inside this render function, I will say this dot xyz dot bind, and I'll pass this. This is the way how to call the function inside this templating and whatever we have defined here. But same function, if I want to call inside here, let's say I'm inside here, I want to call xyz, I will say this dot xyz. I will not attach dot bind this. This dot bind this is only attached when we are in the render part. But when we are outside the render part, we can just say this dot xyz semicolon. That means call this function. But when we are inside the render part, we have to say this dot form function name. We have to append this every time, this dot bind in the bracket this. In this way, we are able to call this function. So now what will happen? See, when I call this function, I will put some console.log. Hello world. I expect that when I click this submit form button, I should be able to see this hello world and everything should be fine. Let's see what happened now. So now what I will do, I will just say fill something and then I will say enter. So as soon as I say enter, you will see the page is refreshed and my text is gone. Because whenever I click submit button, it's refreshing the page. I don't want it to refresh the page. I want to just do what I want to, what I think to do. I don't want the page refresh. So I will just pass one parameter here is called event. It is a E, and here I will say E dot prevent default. Prevent default means don't do whatever you normally do. You have to stop this form being submitted, because normally when I click the form submission, it will submit it. Now what I'm doing, E dot prevent default will prevent the form to be submitted. Now let's see what happens. So now if I fill form and I click submit, you will see the hello world which I typed here, and you will not see page refresh because still I am able to see the title which I typed. I'll click this one. I will be able to see hello world, but I won't see the page refresh because I don't want page refresh. I want something. I should write the code. What code I will write? I will write the code to submit it to the Firebase. So I will just right now delete the console.log, and here I will write something to submit into the Firebase. That we will do tomorrow. So just copy this function or render function. I'll give in the chat, and inside the form tag should be manipulated to call this function. So that's it for today. Tomorrow also we will take the big class for 2 lectures because we missed Monday and Tuesday.